What do we think about this, ladies and gents? It's a handheld vacuum that is smaller than the average handheld vacuum. We all know those vacuums that we have in our cars that have those open suction points that we try to get the spilled oatmeal and spilled Cheerios, from the car, right? We all have some sort of vacuum, but something not like this. What do we think about this one specifically, guys? Okay. What do we think about this specifically? Okay, take a look at the sizing. Okay, that's the main factor here. Brand name, Izami, wouldn't do it. Correct. It looks high-end also, which is good. Vacuum attachment is so much cheaper. Correct. Price is too high. Two marketing angles for parents who want a quick hassle way to deal with the mess that the kids leave. For pet owners who like a convenient way to clean up the actual pet hair. Carly says, I think if it's mini enough to keep in your car, it could be interesting. Right, especially for parents. Man says, Bezos has one just like it. Correct. Neat and compact, very appealing, but would there be enough margin? Deontay, defiantly smaller than most, but provides the same result as the car wash if needed for 50 cents. Bing, ding, ding, ding. Okay, Kakab says, you can do the same thing with different attachment. Guys, amazing points there. So let's talk about the positives and the negatives first. Positive is, yeah, it looks high end. It does look higher end. Doesn't look total cheapo. Okay, which is good, but has the Asian lettering on it. Can we hit up our agents and go ahead and specifically have our new brand name put on there after we have some volume? Technically, yes, but not off the rip, not off the bat. So it's not going to be in the cards right away. Okay, is the result different than a 50-cent car wash that you could just drive up to? No. Okay, not so much. Is the result different from some other specific vacuum that you could just go ahead and have as well? No, probably not so much. Okay, now definitely is smaller. Okay, but in all reality, is that like so much of an issue? And is it really that small? It's not really that small compared to other handheld vacuums. It's almost the same size. Quite frankly, guys, yes, it does look more of like a capsule and more like 2022-esque, but something like this is just not going to be sold too well on impulse. Okay, this is like, for example, if you had a solely vacuum store and you only sold vacuums and you had great data on vacuum cleaners and items like this, then I would say, hell, might as well test it. But, coming out of straight random, and not much, relevancy to what you're going to be selling in a general store. All of our points here are valid, and I would say this is something that really doesn't meet the product research criteria, and is just another generic, smaller handheld vacuum that doesn't have any result differentiation. That's the real difference maker, guys, is the result differentiation. We don't really see too much of that here as well. So keep that in mind. We're definitely going to want to pass on something like this. Okay. What are our views on these guys? These items, okay, are as good as your marketing and your copy and your video and your landing pages, which is why these are great items to sell. Okay. Montessori items that have to do with development, motor skills, feel, touch, smell, sense at all. Okay. Anything that helps and furthers the actual development of a toddler or a child is a great candidate of an item, especially an item just like this, okay, that does have these specific differentiations as you go through and have different actual topics. Okay. What you want to do here is not show them all these different random items. What you want to do here is pick one and market each one individually and see what takes off. Montessori items in general are great items that you want to sell. Okay. And obviously, like we've said a few times already, this and these types of items do very well. And these are the types of items that you could build great brands on. Okay. Now, with that being said, is it just books? No. Anything in the development niche or market. These specifically, I will pass because I'm seeing these, but you're going to definitely want to market these, okay, individually or in a bundle format. Okay. You don't want to just go ahead and start having all these random variants on your landing page. Okay. You want to have either bundles built or choose the ones specifically and individually that actually allow you to go ahead and start to sell items like this, okay, because you're formatting your marketing angle off the bat with these items and you're not generalizing and saying, oh, Montessori, look at everything we have to offer. We have books and this and this and this and this and this. No, centralize your message and centralize your offer. It shouldn't be a generalized offer. This is a general store, but it's not Amazon. Keep that in mind. Okay. It's going to be something that is just based off of each individual landing page of what you're buying here. Okay. So it will pass. Okay, but it's super, super important. And I would say this is definitely still massively valuable because a lot of parents do understand the actual value and utility of having their child go through books and feel things like this. It's not all iPad-esque. Okay. Meanwhile, a lot of the time, when there's actual feel and touch involved, it's a lot more real for the actual children. And this is exactly why these will continue to do well, because it's real, it's 3D, and it's physical. And 3D physical touch will always kind of combat that kind of touchscreen iPad-esque feel. But items like this are definitely something that you want to look into and move forward with more. And I would say this market specifically and outdoor experience items, hint, hint, are very, very hot. Okay, so absolutely this will pass. Ladies and gents, thoughts on this specific item, okay? Before we start typing down below, let's go ahead and look into this. This is UV lighting, okay, UV lighting, okay, UV light glasses, okay, but more in a high perceived value kind of casing. Okay, what are our thoughts about this down below, guys? Okay, yes, is the result the same? Yeah, the result is the same for this. Okay, but quite frankly, one of the big things that you have to realize here when you're selling glasses like this is you have these prescriptions, right? Which is going to be probably a huge problem when people start getting them, because I can only imagine how accurate these actually are. Okay, how actually accurate these prescriptions actually are. Okay, as you move forward. Now, that's one of the main things here. While UV glasses are phenomenal and do very well, okay, we want to understand that literally as we move forward, just because the casing is different, right, is not really something that really makes the result different. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. The result is the main ideology of what we're focusing on here. Okay, but the result is the same, okay, compared to other specific glasses in the marketplace as well. Okay, so while they do look different, okay, and do look like Harry Potter, which is cool, I don't think everyone will like that change of design. And I also don't think having them have to choose a prescription will help you because there's going to be a lot of people, even though they picked the right one, who just can't seem to see through it clearly and will be refund heaven. So I'm going to say let's definitely move past this, even though it's a great pick and great item. For that reason, I could just foresee lots of refunds with this item for the prescriptions specifically. Okay, now items like this, okay, this specific item, and let me go ahead and walk you through why I like items like this. Okay, now the reason I like items like this is because, okay, of it being so unique and custom toward exactly what it is. So with that being said, just like when I was selling the ninja set, okay, that you can set up on your trees, it's a game, it's an activity just like this. Okay, games and unique activities do very well. Okay, what's the problem here is when it's electrical based like this and it breaks. Okay, that's what you want to look out for. So when you have an item that is like the outdoor item that I would sell, that you connect it to two trees, it's a slack line, and you connect monkey bars to it, and the child could, have a backyard little jungle gym without any electricity, just two trees. Those are items that I do like that are game-esque. Okay, this is game-esque, and I would say this item definitely can do well, okay, and it has great orders and great reviews, but we do want to go ahead and with specifically items like this, focus more on not electric focused items, because like this will eventually go, right? Because it's a game, you can tell it's a little bit lower quality. It's built off these smaller batteries. So I'd rather you look in the market of, game-esque and experience, but specifically without having to do with electric and, particularly outside, mainly. So keep that in mind, but I will approve this item because this type of item can do very well, because when you market the game in general as its own kind of subjective and different actual game, that's when people can be like, oh, that's cool, and buy it, right? You just want to make sure that you're showing differentiation in the video and the copy, and it's not just the same airplane that they could buy anywhere else, which is kind of what it seems like here. So when you kind of put that into perspective, okay, so would I say no to, I would say yes, the product could be great for marketing, right? But I would urge you to look for other items in the same realm that have a bit more differentiation. And I'd further urge you to look for other items in the same game-esque realm that don't have electric worked in with them, that are mainly taking place outside without the electric, but still like a game. So there's kind of some different ways you could kind of think about it there, but I will pass this, but just keep those points in mind for that exact reason. Okay. And the whole ideology is when you have little random generic games like this, it's very easy to make it seem fun and awesome in the copy, in the landing page, in the video, which is why these can by nature do better than other types of items, because it's more fun to watch. And when there are people watching more of the content, naturally you'll have more sales. So that's the kind of breakdown for that, guys. And then that was kind of like a very over the top, in-depth explanation with 3 different kind of concepts, but that is how you want to look at items like this. Now, this one specifically as well. What are our thoughts on this item, ladies and gents? Okay. Now, keep in mind here, the waist trainer has been a proven item, one of the most proven, most saturated items in the market. This is not a waist trainer though. Okay, this is a specific lower end body trainer, okay, that specifically, okay, has more than one goal with it, okay? It's to shape the front as well as the back and overall be more lower torso portioned. Okay, so this item, very saturated, okay, generally, but, okay, hear me out here, but, okay, items like this that are shapewear that have the higher, and this is coming because I've sold lots of items relatively like this, not exactly like this, but very similar. Okay, when it has the higher perceived value actual lacing, like this one does, you're going to sell more. Okay, when it's primarily focused on waist as well as shaping the behind, you're going to sell more. Okay, but there's a major problem that we're all aware of. Okay, is the sizing. Okay. That's the main thing here. The sizing specifically is the main problem here. So what we should look for specifically is something that is more in the one size fits all portion. Okay. Which is difficult to do with items like this. Okay. With that being said though, okay, items that focus on frontal as well as rear shaping do well. Okay, I would not say to market anything that is just focused on waist training at this point. It has to be double focused now. Okay, moving forward, waist training as well as the behind also. So this item specifically, am I going to say it's not a good item to market? No. Am I going to say it's going to be an absolute winner? No. I'm going to say this is a bit saturated, but does have unique differentiators associated with it that could make this do well after you go ahead and spend some money on marketing and gain consistency with. Okay, this one I'm neutral on. Okay, I like the item because I know it continues to do well, but it's going to take more money into the marketplace, like I mentioned previously with other items that also were slightly saturated. Okay, so this one, like I said, I would keep it on your list, but I would put other items that have higher AliExpress order count toward the top. Okay, but this will pass for those reasonings. Okay, also, Facebook you will get approved with this, but it's going to be more of a difficult time, okay, because you can't really showcase the back, okay, only the frontal here, okay, to actually avoid getting declined. So this is a bit more of a tricky product overall, as you can tell by all the points that I'm mentioning here, but overall the item can do well. Okay, keep those points in mind, okay, but at the end of the day, it might just be easier to market something else in its place, okay, but that is the kind of breakdown on this specific item. Okay, it's kind of a bit risky to market on Facebook, but you'll still get approved because you're not showing the rear portion. You just might have to change some images around. Okay, sizing is going to end up being a problem, and you're also going to have to spend more money to kind of get consistency flowing to actually get the pixel to understand who wants to buy items like this, because there's so many different items and people in keywords that you'll be targeting who've already bought something like this, which means the cost per acquisition will probably be a bit higher. So that's my overall opinion on this item, and I would say I'm more neutral than anything. And I'd rather you put other items above it that have higher AliExpress order counts.